at the Merdeka podcast by dUCk. So I have somebody very, very, very special. We have here Datuk Nicol David.
Hey,
Thank
hi.
you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, baby. I'm
How
so
are you?
excited. Good.
Good.
Yeah.
You're going to Paris. Can I come?
There's always space.
Actually, that's what I needed to ask you. Okay, we're done.
Yeah. The end. Let's go. Off to Paris now.
Okay, so
Yes.
really thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to speak to you, especially in conjunction with Merdeka, because I can't think of anyone more perfect for this. I met you for the first time on TV. But in real life, I met you at a wedding.
Yes.
So it was Dr. Malina's wedding, and we were at the same table.
I
And
know.
when we saw your name, my husband saw you. I was supposed to sit next to you, okay? And then he was like, "Get out! That's my seat. I want to sit next to her." So I saw you in a very different form of style, you know, because
No sports outfit.
no
Yeah.
sneakers. That day was like baju kurung, got makeup, and I'm like, wow. So you're like a chameleon. You can do sopan fashion, you can do glam fashion, you can even do like sweaty court fashion.
Yeah, that's like the original.
The original style. Okay, so we know you as our world champion, right? But we want to know more about the person behind all of that, the person behind all the trophies and the medals. So please share with us, right? How was young Nicol David? How was she like?
Well, kind of the same, but just like 35 years younger, if you can do the math. I was basically a great experience growing up. I'm from Penang, so it was just nice to have my older sisters, and I was just a hyper kid.
Really?
So my mom and my dad had to find ways to really keep me occupied, and the first sport that we really started off was squash.
Obviously.
But
They
it
didn't go
was-
wrong there.
Yeah, but my dad used to play a lot of sport as well. He was former footballer for Malaysia, a goalkeeper, and also he played hockey. He was a sprinter. So a lot of things started off in the house where we have all sorts of things in the house, whether it's different kind of rackets, hockey sticks, you name it, we got
So
it.
you
So
just like,
I just
"What's
started.
this?"
Yeah, so it was always something to do at home. But the first thing we started was squash, and the public squash center was built when I was 5 years old, and that's where everything began with my sisters going to classes
So
first.
it's three sisters.
Two older sisters.
Two older sisters, and you're the
Leanne and
youngest.
Cheryl. Yes, and
My
I'm
God,
the
your
youngest.
house must be like chaotic with the girl hormones.
Yeah, I know. My dad has to put up with all four of us, including my mom, but he did well. And so when they started, I wasn't playing yet, and then I started playing squash only because I was so hyper and I couldn't sit still. But I was watching them playing, and I really wanted to play with them too. So I told my dad I want to join classes.
You said
as well.
it. You're like,
yeah,
I want to
to join, and they didn't have squash rackets my size. I was 5 years old, so I was too small. So my dad found a way to get the racket cut into half and made it smaller so I can actually. It was a wooden racket, and I could actually
Do you still have it?
Yes. My
okay.
parents have it at home. It's like sacred. So
Wow. You should like
that's
frame it
how-
up.
Yeah.
This is how it all began.
Yeah,
right?
and that's how I started. But I was very happy being in Penang, growing up there. It was a great environment to be in, to grow up, just being in Convent Green Lane and my primary and secondary school, so all girls school. A lot of support from my school and the headmistress there, and we used to play so many tournaments. But I still managed to find time to do my work, my homework.
Yeah,
because
studies. I heard you're all A's student.
Not all
What is
A's,
this?
not all A's. Just
How can someone achieve like wow, excellence in everything? Amazing.
But it's because of sport. If I didn't have squash or I didn't have sport in my life, I wouldn't have been that disciplined. I wouldn't have been focused or more dedicated to what I'm doing. And time management was key.
Yeah.
And if with sport, I knew how to manage my time better. So if I had that short period of like extra time, I could study and have full focus in that time. So that was really because of sport that it gave me that discipline to do
How old
well.
were you? This is like what, 14?
Yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I started when I was 5, and then I really started competing when I was 10, 11.
Okay.
And then I started hitting it off. When I was 14, I won my first Asian title for Malaysia in the Asian Championships, a senior
At
title.
14. At what?
14, yeah.
And then what were we doing at 14?
And that's where it all began. When I felt, okay, this is my chance to really see what I can do with the sport. And when I was 17, I decided to go pro.
Yeah.
My parents were very supportive in the fact that I didn't go to university after SPM, but they knew that I had dreams and aspirations to be the best, and I moved out of the country and went to Amsterdam to train with my coach, former world champions from Australia, Liz Irving, and I moved there when I was 18.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
such a young age to be separated from like all the things that you know, right? Home.
Yeah.
Your parents are such a integral part of your life, right? So they're Chindian, right?
Yes.
I mean, you're Chindian, sorry. So your dad,
they are Chindian, and then it comes out this. It
it's Malay looking.
Yeah.
So how was that? Your household must have been like a chaotic culture, a pot of like different culture coming together, right?
Yeah, it was, but it was really nice because it starts from my grandparents on my dad's side, because my dad's mom was Eurasian, and also my grandfather was Indian. So they all were, they just had that mix from the get-go.
Yeah.
And my mom's side, it was mostly Chinese, but she got into this mix where the family was accepting of her. And I think when you're exposed to the mixed cultures, and we are just used to it. And Malaysia gave us that means to just be united as one in so many different races, and we grew up that way. So nothing else really mattered. Everyone was paid was given equal respect
and love
and
consideration.
love.
Yeah.
So, and growing up in such a positive environment helps too. My parents were the most loving, caring parents, and they never really pressured me in any way to do well in my exams or
Really?
in
Oh
my
my God.
sport.
I'm like
No, they were the last
Asian
people. Yeah. So they were the last people to pressure me, in all my sisters,
Really?
because they gave us the tools and they supported us, but they knew that if we wanted to do well and we wanted to achieve what we wanted, it's not their place to tell us. It's for us to decide for ourselves, even from a young age, what we wanted, and then we will put 100% in
Because
the
you wanted it
training. It's
yourself.
because it comes from us.
Have you seen that movie King Richard?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
So it's not like that. It's not like.
Not even close. My dad was always like, they will take us to tournaments, they will take us to training, and they were just by our sides, but they were never expecting anything out of the squash results or even our school.
Really?
Actually, I was the one that was worried to not achieve the grades because I want to be as good as my sisters. And my mom was like, "Don't worry, even if you fail, it's okay." Like, I know then she tells this story to everyone, and everybody is like, "How can you tell your daughter that?" And then makes your kids want to even do better. It's like, no, I want to do better.
Oh, it's reverse psychology, is it? Okay, I'm gonna try that. Because I keep telling my kids, I'm like, what? Only this mark? You should get 100%. I should stop that.
No, it's just that they just felt that we would just put the work in, and that was it. And I think when you have that sort of space to just push yourself and have that support, it just makes it so much easier for us to do what we want. And that's why I could go to Amsterdam and be the best I can be.
Oh, that's beautiful. So your parents, like, did they impart anything to you, like a quote or something that they say before you go on these tournaments?
Yeah, my mom.
Apart from, it's okay if you don't win.
Yeah. Something like that. It's one of those. Both my parents always says, like, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, but as long as you're a good person, that's all that matters to them. So it's about being humble and making sure that you give respect in the way that you can get that respect in return, and like good sportsmanship. So in every sense, I take that with me to this very day, that people will remember you of how you behave and how you are to them, and not just because you're successful, but how you treat them.
Yeah.
And that's where people remember you, and that will always remain. But like success may come and go,
Yeah.
but you as a person will always remain in people's eyes.
That's a good reminder to all of us. Yes.
Yeah.
My team as well, just now when you were changing, my assistant was like, she asked me how I am. And she's going to remember that forever. So that's how you made her feel. So,
oh, thanks.
okay, so I wanted to ask, a lot of the duck community, they're moms.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're always trying to find our kids' passions, right? So I have 4 kids, and I'm like looking
I don't know
at
how you do it though.
yeah, I don't either. But I'm always trying to find like what is it that they like, like with Daniel. Okay, so I'm quite a psycho Asian mom, so I actually did a DNA test, like the circle DNA.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
so they offered me, so they were like, oh, do you want to do it on your kids? I'm like, yeah, okay. So then Daniel, he has entrepreneurship skills. So Mariam has language. I don't know what I'll do with that, but we'll see.
Plenty. Believe me, plenty.
Sarah has math skills, so she's going to be my CFO. And then the last one, Idris, he's good at singing and dancing, apparently. I don't know, he's only 2. So, but from what I'm seeing is that every time I put them in, like, I encourage them, oh, you want to try tennis, you want to try swimming, blah, blah, blah. They always give up. They always like do 3 classes, and then they're like, no, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So how do parents kind of encourage their children to go for their passion? Are they supposed to push more? Because kids are kids, right? They just want to play. Like, so are we supposed to push, or are we supposed to be like, it's okay, whatever you want?
So I feel that parents, once you have done that part where you expose them to different things, whether it's sport, whether it's art, whether it's music, anything that you expose them to, I feel they need to have a friend with them. And then it becomes like, okay, I have a buddy to play with, or I have a buddy to start a sport with, and then they encourage each other. So it's
I play with them.
I
don't think they like it. They're like, no, Mom.
You can. I mean, it's nice to have a family get together. So actually, we started with my parents also having friends to play squash, and then my sisters also joined.
I see.
And then they had classes on the side. So it's really, if you make it a family thing, great. If you also like speak to your friends that have like a common, like their friends and the moms, that they can go together to do a sport together. I think it works out better that way than to just be solo.
Alone, right?
Alone. And because it's all attention on them. And if they do wrong or they do something that is not fully up to par, they feel discouraged and then they stop straight away. So the most important thing is how to make them feel like that first impression will stay in with them, So I think with the right environment, when they are safe with their friends, when they know that if they do wrong, no, their friend is doing also maybe sometimes some mistakes, it's okay because both of them are figuring out together. Yeah. So expose to them as much as possible. There's no means to push. They will decide like what really fits, but it comes when there is a nice, safe environment to start a sport.
So. I love that angle. So okay, so you mentioned a lot that you just love what you do. You just love squash, and I can see like when you talk about squash, like the light in your eyes, right? So is the key then to find what you enjoy, which fortunately for you came, but I think for a lot of people, maybe until now, this is not just kids, for adults as well. Until now, we don't know what we enjoy. Maybe we haven't found it. So is the key then to just do it, and then you learn to enjoy it, or does it come? You either enjoy it or you don't?
It depends on the situation, or different people would love to try different things and they probably enjoy everything, and that's fine. And some people, they can do everything and still is struggling to figure out what really works for them. But deep down in their gut, I think they know. It's just that maybe they don't really explore further. So when they start doing this exploration or trying to find something that really they are passionate about, if you start forcing it, you won't feel that, that core in your gut that this feels right. And I think when you want to force it, even when you are in adulthood, it just doesn't seem to come naturally.
yeah.
So don't focus too much on having to make it feel like it's good or it has to
Yeah.
be right. It's just too much pressure
Yeah.
on yourself to feel like this needs to be the thing that I love doing. And if it doesn't feel right, okay, well, then you just like, panic, right? Okay, what's next? I have to try everything. So be open to just exploring, and when you have that first impression, same thing, like first gut feeling, when that really like takes your eye, or when you feel like you can just feel like there's a flow in doing something, and maybe it's not the first time, but just pick up on those small signs that will attract you more, and then you push a little further in that line.
So it's okay to like not enjoy it immediately.
Yeah, but you
you'll
can find something inside you that will just spark. Yeah. So
Okay.
be more attentive to that rather than to I need to find something that I'm passionate about. And I feel that's just a different mindset for people, that we need to be passionate in what we do. Yes, so that we can actually be motivated, but at the same time have fun in the process.
Yeah. Did you ever
And
feel like squash was becoming a job?
no, it
No.
was always something that
Wow.
I enjoyed, because
Okay, then you truly enjoy it then, yeah.
at some point when it becomes really like that small window of making sure that you're getting better and having to improve all the time, it was another passion of mine to improve myself. So you may be at your top of the top, like being number one in the world, but what is going to make you even better? So I felt that I was passionate about improving myself all the time, and then I was finding those small windows of opportunity to refine my game, get better, because there's always room to just keep getting better. And that was very motivating for me to have that challenge, to push myself. How far can I go? And that was really nice. It was quite fun, because it's painful. Maybe it's just weird, but it was just pushing me to see my limits, and it was a great experience. And then with my coach, we find all the small things that we can add on, and then I see myself being further and further away from the pack. So when I get that gap from the rest of the squash players, I feel that I'm unstoppable. So that was the whole
And
feeling.
yeah.
And if I didn't feel at my best, I can still beat my opponents, even if I'm a little bit down, like maybe 20-30%, and they come up. But I know the confidence that I have with all the training that I've done, with all the preparation that I put in place, I can still beat them. And that's the confidence that I could go into, because I did the work, and because I was that's the passion that comes into working even harder to improve myself. And that was the driving force of me being at the top for so long.
It's unbelievable. If you think back, it's like what you've achieved is just crazy, you know. You should always smile to sleep at night, every night. Okay, this question I want to ask you, especially you.
Okay.
In the world, I want to ask you this question. Okay. It's about pressure. So
Right.
I walk into my company town hall, and that's like 100, 200 people, and I already feel pressure. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to mess up. Oh my God, like, I hope they'll like what I say, all this. You walk into the court, and you have the entire Malaysia on your back. That's like 33 million people. 33 million. So
Yes.
what's in your head? Like, how does one woman handle that kind of pressure?
Interesting enough, like from young, I had that pressure. So having to compete
By yourself?
Yeah.
From yourself?
From myself,
Okay.
and also the expectations, being a 14, 15-year-old, having to play for the country, winning the World Junior title at 15. All these things came at a young age, where I had to do well for the country. So I learned from a young age the pressure that comes with it. Obviously, as you play the pro tour, it mounts, and when you play Asian Games, Commonwealth Games to get the gold medal, it goes another next level. So I've always had mental training from when I was 12 years old.
What does that mean? You mean
So mental
therapist?
coaching, yeah.
Oh, mental coaching. Okay.
Sports psychologists that came in to work with our elite team, and the squash team was given a chance to work with different experts at the time, and I was in the national team at 12. And so I had this expertise learning how to visualize, do visualization techniques, goal settings, turning the negative to positive, all these things from a young age. And then I practice it throughout my junior career. And I think from 12 years old to 14, I learned so much in that 2 years. And that brought me to another level. And then I carried on throughout my journey in the Pro Tour, the visualization point, which is visualizing myself winning in like the most perfect way. Every point, every shot, to the moment I step on court, how do I look, how do I feel, how do I stand, visualizing all that, and then winning,
And then it
holding
happens.
the trophy and seeing myself in that light prepares your mind to do it naturally. And when you come to tournaments, it just takes over. You don't, because that's training. That's
So it's like the power of manifestation. You manifest that you
Absolutely,
win, and then boom, you win.
So your mind is prepared for what's coming. Your body has trained for the intensity for what has to be done. Now both has to connect. And so in competitions, I do the same. And 3 weeks before, every day, either it's in the morning or at night before I go to sleep, I will just do a visualization on my game. And if it's a certain opponent that I'm gonna play, I will visualize it and then sleep and then do it all the way to the competition. And then in the week, I will also do the same. And that will just prepare my mind that the minute I go on court, I just have like a button that my visualization button where I switch off, beep, and then I'm in the court and then I'm in the zone. So you try your best to stay in the zone as much as possible. So I have different techniques where it's, feeling, touching, all this to be in the present moment and not thinking, oh, I made a mistake. What do I do next? How do I come back from being out of focus, coming back to the center again? So a lot of different techniques like feel, words, trigger words that brings you back to now.
Wow.
And then like standing tall, posture, all these things
matter.
You have to practice and train in your training before. Then going to competition becomes more of a natural like instinct that you have to do it on the spot. So when I focus on that, the pressure doesn't seem to be so big because I'm focusing on that moment.
Yeah. So when you're in the court, like okay, everybody's cheering for you. Do you actually block it out? Like you actually can't hear them?
Sometimes you don't, and sometimes I didn't realize who was in. I always don't see my parents. If they are there in the crowd, I never know they existed while watching me.
They don't like, Nicol, we love you.
I hear my mom sometimes in the crowd, but the crowd actually, I had to turn things around and say, the crowd is there to watch you just perform, and so enjoy the moment, not expect them, not win for them, but just know that they are there for a show. So just have a show. Yeah, just have a good show,
Wow.
So it took a while. So I had another psychologist in Amsterdam that I worked with that helped me to handle this pressure situations, how to manage each different opponents that I face.
Okay.
To then tackle those moments.
Wow.
It's a lot of work.
I'm sure. So we only see you when you go to court, like the court, and then you will play, and then that's it. I'm sure it takes so much work to get there, right? So walk us through your training, like daily life. Like
it was 6 days a week.
6 days a week.
Yeah, and it's twice a day. Yeah, twice a day of training. So you have like maybe an hour and a half, or maybe 2 hours, depending on what you do in the morning. Yeah, whether it's a physical session or a sports session. Have a little bit of a lunch, and then start again in the afternoon for another two hours, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, depending. Or maybe a squash session or another physical session. And then it's evening where I just crash and eat dinner, and then I'll sleep and get ready to go for the next day. And
day in, day out, this.
Yeah, and it's and on the Thursdays are like a half day, so I have a bigger recovery because the Monday to Wednesday it goes up
intense
high, and then Thursdays is like a half day to then recover and then build up again Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday day off.
Sunday's day off, right?
Yeah, it's like my secret day. I don't do anything.
Is that your favorite day?
Yeah. It used to be my sofa day where I can just sit and watch Netflix all day. But at the time, it was just VCD, DVD. Wow. I know, that's my age.
Know that?
That's like telling my age, right? So
videotapes.
I know, tapes, yes, definitely.
Laserdisc?
Laserdisc.
No.
I couldn't buy one Laserdisc, but I did all the VCDs and stuff. So yeah, so
Great
it
old
was
days.
the old days, and I'll have like my time to myself, or I would do an active recovery, like walk around the park or do some window shopping, like walking around town,
Yeah.
just to get some fresh air. But mostly I don't do much because I want to get ready for
The
Monday
next day, right?
and start all
Gosh.
over again. So
If it's this kind of intense training, day in, day out,
yeah.
you would have missed out on a lot, right? Like social life, friends.
I didn't feel that I was missing out. I think it was part of the deal. So people always tell me that, you sacrifice a lot, and I didn't feel it was a sacrifice. I think it was just something that I was told that if you want to achieve something or you want to do well, this is what you have to do, and you're committed. So it's not a sacrifice. It's just how things are
It's just
done,
what you chose.
And I thought I was doing that purely because everyone else is doing it. But then when I tell my friends that, they said, no, it doesn't work that way. You're just disciplined to follow the program. For me, I had my time when I had some time off after tournaments. I'll have like 3-4 days off of just like unwind and then meeting friends, family. If I'm back in Malaysia, I will spend some time with family and friends. But I don't think I missed out. I think I had a great life, but my life was training. My life was committed to making sure I'm on my game all the time. I had my days where I can have a Saturday cross training where it's like street hip hop dance classes, like street dance,
Oh yeah, I heard you like hip hop.
Yeah,
Yes.
just basic, just to change the mind. I'll just draw when on my off days where I was
That's
saying
your
Sunday.
like
Yeah.
therapy. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
9 times world champion. I think it's quite crazy to keep winning and winning and winning,
Yeah.
right? Do you think it's okay to take a break sometimes?
Yeah, I at a point when I got probably my 8 titles, and nine years I won number 1, and I had a point where I just pushed too far in terms of not giving myself a break.
Okay.
So I was just doing a full year in 2008, and then going into 2009, I started to get a bit fatigued at the end of the year, and I'm wondering like, oh, okay, I should be fine. Why am I not feeling the itch to like push? And then I started feeling like a little niggle in my leg, and then there was a little injury, not really bad, but it was just signs that I didn't give myself time to take a break.
Okay.
And after that end of 2009, I told myself I can't afford to put myself in that place where I don't give myself any rest, because my brain and my mind needs time to like decompress and then start pushing for another season.
Yeah.
To train and to compete, so that I can refresh, regroup, and then start fresh for the training and for tournaments to come.
God, you're so focused. It's crazy. I'm learning so much from you. So I also want to ask, like, you being the world champion is one thing, but your character is so intact, right? So how do you not let this kind of fame and status get to your head? Because, like, hello, like, I've won the world champion 9 times. Now people are telling me how to play, like, like, yeah. So how do you keep humble?
To be honest, I never thought I was all that good, like, because I was winning a world title, and I always felt that I still needed to find things to improve and get better, and I never felt that I was number 1. Is strange but true. I never felt I was the world.
You didn't read the news.
I didn't read. I actually didn't read the news, to be honest. So what I used to do is I just stopped reading all newspapers about me.
Really?
Because I didn't want to get distracted or get anything negative that could affect me, and it might stay. So I stopped reading all newspapers about
social media.
So I tried my best to not see it during the week of the competition, and only after.
That's smart, yeah.
So I mean, at the time it wasn't so much. Now it's just like anywhere you turn is there, you know. So that was my way of just trying to get on track. But I never thought that I was that world champion. I always felt like I'm number 2 to be that number 1, because I'm always fighting for that number 1 position. Every month you get your rankings, and you need to compete a certain amount of tournaments. You have to gain certain amount of points to then secure your position. So it was never like a given.
Yeah.
I needed to always work for it. So
And once you're on top, the pressure to keep being on top is even
crazier.
Right?
So it was more of that sense that's why I feel that I didn't know it all. I knew I had to keep learning because all the other my opponents, they were always pushing me. They're always finding maybe something that they can attack or on me, or like find ways to like disrupt me in my match. So I have to be prepared all around for those occasions. So yeah, it was that's how I lived through my squash journey at number one, and I didn't think any other way. I just knew that I had to keep working harder and work even harder to stay there.
Yeah. So a lot of people want to win at whatever industry they're in, right? Myself in the fashion business, what do you think? What are the traits that we need to have to be a winner? Like what kind of mindset, what kind of discipline? Because you have this infectious, very kind smile, but inside you're like a lion, always winning. So, what does it take to be a winner?
Well, they call me the smiling assassin. So
I
can be all like happy and smiley, and then after that, I'm ruthless on court. So it really boils down to what you're there to do, how committed you are towards your goals, and if you put the effort in and the planning and preparation, you will actually perform at your very best.
Right.
So I think that will give you the confidence to just go forward. So I think planning and preparation is key, and also knowing your strengths. Yeah. And then when you know your strength and you can believe in your own ability, I think belief is the biggest thing that sometimes being in Malaysia, sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit to that we can push to the max and to be world beaters or to compete with other companies or brands. And it's about believing that you can do it and just do what your strengths allow you to, and the sky is the limit. I never thought I would be where I am today and in squash. Even my parents are always like still a bit shocked with
what, for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just also you need to believe, and it comes about a lot of hard work. So believe, hard work, and planning and preparation. I think those things are just very important. You can be good at everything, but if you don't prepare, plan, and be ready for the task,
you're not going to win.
Yeah, things are not going to work out your way. So
I think I also want to ask you about your next phase, right? Your identity has been so stuck with sports and squash and champion your entire life. How do you even begin to find a new identity? Retiring, I'm sure that was such a hard decision to make. And what was the acceptance like to kind of go into the next era of Nicol David?
It was a tough place to be after I won my 8th.
Lost.
No, just kidding.
What's that mean?
No, I did lose many times, believe me, and I hate losing. So that's why I kept wanting to win all the time.
Yeah.
So when I lost when I was starting to lose after I won my 8th world title, I was starting to lose quite a lot. And I didn't know why. I was in denial for 2 years, and it was painful because I lost my number one position. I went to 2. Slowly I went down to 3, 4, and then before you know it, I'm like losing in like a second round of like the US Open, and to a player that I haven't really lost before. Actually, never lost before.
Wow.
And this was 2 years after I did an amazing year, won my 8th world title. And my coach asked me this question, like, do you really want to keep playing? Because you don't seem to like it out there anymore. And I was like, no, I'm gonna play another 5 years. What are you talking about? I can still get there. And then I went back to the hotel, and then when I started to really ask the question honestly to myself, then I was like emotional. I started crying, and it really hit me that can't do it anymore. You know, I can't push myself anymore. I lost my edge. I don't want to fight for those wins. I fought all this last 10 years trying to be at my very best, and I already just gave it all. So in that moment, I told myself I had 2 more years. Let's make the most of it. And in that 2 years, the first year, it was like an emotional roller coaster because I was trying to break up with squash.
Yeah.
You know, who am I if I don't have squash?
Yeah.
So I was trying to slowly let go of squash, and it was tough because in that process I was also playing competition. I was still not doing as well as I hoped. I'm older, or everyone's so much younger. They're all hungry to beat me, and it was tough. But then slowly, in coming into the second year, I was happier. I was ready to prepare for my next journey of opening my foundation. So I was training in Colombia at the time just to change of environment, and I caught up with my friend who used to be a former squash player, Mariana.
Yeah,
And
met her. She's lovely.
yes. So when I went to train there, I was just catching up with her, telling her my plans, and she used to work in the corporate office as well at the time. And she was telling me all this structure to put together, telling me how I am capable of doing so much more. Don't think that you're just a squash player. You got so much to offer. And I'm like, wow, this is great to hear. You just need to hear it from a different
Someone
light
else,
and a different perspective. So the more I learned from her, the more I realized I need someone like her to come and help me set things up back in Malaysia for my foundation. So I said, would you like to come to Malaysia and join me for this journey and quit your job? And she went, why not? So I got convincing skills. So she moved from Colombia, and now when I retired, literally in 2019, I was the happiest because I have already let go of squash, and I was already preparing for myself for what's to come.
Nothing's proof as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I was really happy. I was smiling away because I was just excited for what's to come. And I was prepared because I was doing some trainings, like maybe for motivational talks, to speak, to planning, preparation, like everything, planning and preparation for what's next. And then I was ready. I was ready to take on what's the life that I was heading to. And then now, 5 years now since I retired, and it's been the best few years.
You get more rest days.
Yeah,
and
actually,
watch TV a bit more.
Yeah, in the beginning, but now it's just like full on work.
Right? So tell us about your foundation.
Yeah, so it's a Nicol David organization, and we are only about 2 years old. We launched it in 2022, and the objective is to empower girls and boys through sport and education. So the program is called Little Legends, and we want to have more legends in the making. But we use squash as the sport because that's our sport, and English because we want to have our kids to be more proficient in English. And it's an after-school program. So we are now in Bukit Jalil Golf and Country Resort, and they have 3 squash courts. We have 3 classroom spaces and an office space. So we cater to kids all around the area. So we have 4 partner schools, 3 Kebangsaan school, 1 Tamil school, and we will pick them up from school and we bring them over to the foundation, and then they'll have 1 hour of squash, 1 hour of English, 2 times a week.
Oh, that's nice.
And then we bring them back to school, or their parents will pick them up.
Yeah.
So they will enter at standard 2 at 8 years old. So the entry point is always at 8 years old, and then we'll see them through 5 years, a journey till they finish standard 6, like the primary years.
They have what it takes.
Yeah, but also to show people that a program needs time, especially development for children. It's not just a one-off program where it's, okay, come in and then you're done. We want to commit to 5 years to make sure that there's impact. And it shows that we are not just letting you just play squash just because. We want you to use squash to gain values, to be confident kids. And just in 6 months of studying, we already seen the change in the kids, and even the parents have seen all the changes that their kids have done, and the discipline. confidence, their happiness, and also their focus have improved from the time they come in to 6
Oh, that's so
months.
nice. Okay, I'll send my kids to you. I'll send myself to you as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go to a little rapid fire this or
Okay.
that. Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
Mm.
You're born ready. Whatever. Okay. Being indoors or outdoors?
Being outdoors.
Like obviously. For me,
Yeah.
it's a very different answer. Call or text?
Sorry?
Call or text?
Text.
Text. Okay, so nobody call her.
Yeah, just text, easier.
Super speed or super strength?
Super speed.
Okay. Win $1 million or earn $1 million?
Easier to win, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not,
Right.
Give me the money. Yeah.
Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Dinner, okay. Nasi ayam or nasi lemak?
Ooh, nasi lemak.
Nasi lemak,
Yeah.
okay. Kampung or city?
I like city.
Okay. Baju kurung or baju kebaya?
Kebaya.
Kebaya? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Mom or dad?
Oh, cannot pass.
Both of them, we love you.
Both of them.
Okay, I wanted to ask, if you could say something to your parents, maybe you can look there.
Okay.
If you could say something to your parents, what would it be?
Well, to both my parents, I just say that how much I adore and love both of you. You both have given me the chance to dream big, to go for my dreams, and I am so thrilled that I can have that nurturing comfort towards my journey all throughout my life and up to now. And I couldn't do it without you both. So thank you so much.
Malaysia couldn't do it without you both, auntie and uncle. One day I hope my kids will say that to me.
And I would like to also share that because I know how important parents are, my foundation has just opened a new pillar and it's called Ibu Legends. And it's
Ibu?
actually
Like-
Ibu, yes, it's for moms
To play squash?
of our children. It's more concerning about their mental health. So we are helping them to give them health checks, free health checks, mental health workshops, physical health training, and also nutrition workshops, so that they can look after themselves first to then look after their
That's so
kids, because we
nice.
know how important the kids are. And now it's not only because when they go back home, it's the family that needs to look after them. So how about we support the ecosystem? And so we just launched it almost a month and a half ago, and we've come into our second workshop. My
Wow.
mom came back specifically because she's joining our workshops as well. So
Oh my god, I want to come.
yeah, you're more than
Because
welcome, please.
we're the pillar of the family. You know,
Yes.
we must feel good first.
Exactly. So we are so excited with this program. The moms absolutely love it. We have 30 moms that have joined the program. We have a lot of things that have come up from their health checkups. Some of them, I think 40% of them have never done a health check before in their lives.
Oh my.
And we gave them the opportunity to get it done. And from there, we saw just how much they needed. And
love
yeah, so I'm glad that we're doing this for the moms too. So
You really don't rest.
you
You just can't stop. Like,
yeah. I know once you open the gates of helping people, I think you
It
just
doesn't
feel like
end.
it doesn't end, and you want to help
Do
more.
more.
And how much further can you go
I
to
love
just
that.
reach out?
Thank
So.
you for inspiring all of us to do the same.
Thank you.
Okay, so Merdeka's coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe just what you love about Malaysia and your hopes for our country.
I love how Malaysia unites when it comes to sport. When I was competing, I feel like I was one of the very few players on tour that always had Malaysian supporters backing me with the Malaysian flag. They will come out of nowhere, and suddenly I'll see a group of Malaysians there with their flag cheering for me. And I think the national pride of having an athlete representing the country, that really brings the country together. And I hope that Malaysia will really emphasize more on sport in terms of developing our nation. It's like the one thing is a unifying tool, but at the same time, if more kids play sport, how much more they can develop as a person on a whole. And that's what we are using in
As proven.
as proven. and just be good people, I think. And it brings everyone together. Even at a young age, they learn the importance of respect, of values, of learning how to work together. And I want to hopefully emphasize more on that for Malaysians.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think as also we Malaysians, thank you for being our pride and joy for so many years. So thank you for doing that for our country. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon, hopefully. Yes, in Paris. I'm going.
I was
coming.
literally saying you're coming to Paris too. Yeah, I will see you there. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.